So here's Derek. Derek, I got you paired up with Andy Pettit for no other reason than you're both left-handed. So I was looking for a left-handed pitcher to compare you to. But I want to show you a couple little things of where velocity is actually leaking, or potential velocity is leaking out of what you're doing mechanically as far as your movement with the body. All right, so if we just take a look at the end and work our way backwards. Okay, let's get you into landing. This is the biggest thing I want you to see is this point right here. So if we watch that front hip at landing, I'll show you the same thing with Pettit, and we'll work our way back. So we're right there at landing. We draw that line. I want you to watch how all the forward momentum, okay, so we started here at the rubber. All that forward momentum is stopped at the hip, okay, that front hip, and then we see from there it's tight rotation around that axis. Okay, so the only way we can rotate there is to have the weight transferred at landing. That weight is on the front hip, okay, and then you see rotation there. When we look at you, we see that landing, and then watch this as we leak right through it. So that tells us, and then we see all the weight never getting to the front hip until about right now. Okay, and then that's the reason you kind of run off the mound. You just have this continual weight shift that never actually comes to a stop. Okay, so if we recognize that the problem is happening, the problem is happening out here, the cause of the problem is happening, further back in the delivery. So if we back up a little bit, we can kind of identify what's going on. All right, so it actually starts at the top of your leg kick. Okay, so that little move right there, and I'll show you just a quick comparison. We'll see Pettit at the top of his leg kick. As he comes out, you're going to see basically the back hip, okay, really taking control and driving his body linearly or sideways towards home plate. Okay, now there's not a lot of rotation at this point. In fact, there's very little rotation. See both toes still pointing this way. His hip belly button is pointing this way as the hands break and come out of the glove. Now everything's going to go into rotation right as I go into landing. Okay, we look at you. And yes, if we just took a still picture, you say, wow, yeah, my back hip went a long way. The problem is coming right here out of leg kick, you see rotation begin. Okay, so your problem is you're allowing rotation to happen throughout the entire process, which causes the back knee to collapse towards the mound right there. Okay, the weight gets trapped, for lack of a better word, the weight gets trapped back in here and never really transfers. Now you try to push, but the weight's still settled in here, and it's still got to try to get to the front. And you can see it transferring right. Watch this as the weight jumps onto the front. Okay? So what we've got to work on is if we can stop the rotation at the top of leg kick. In other words, right here, let's stay together here and let the back hip keep driving you, and not start a rotation until we're out there, okay? And that's the hips, that's the trunk, that's everything, okay? Because you're actually, all the parts are there. Your arm action, everything's good. It's just the synchronicity of when all the pieces go that's really causing your velocity to leak. All right, there's some studies that indicate that the earlier here we start trunk rotation. Okay, so if we're starting trunk rotation here, there's no way we'll ever throw the ball as hard. And you can see from where your shoulders are now, look at that angle and look how they're rotating forward on your way towards the plate. You're just constantly rotating, slow rotation, whereas you look at Pettit and it's boom, everything goes at once. Okay, everything comes through at landing. So yours is just a long, slow opening. Anyway, I can show you some drills to work on that. Again, all the parts are there. It's just the timing of the parts. All right.